Where the Wild Things Are is the worst episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It has a terrible premise, questionable themes, no development for characters or the greater plot, and is genuinely uncomfortable to watch. It was written by Tracy Forbes, whose other credits are Beer Bad and Something Blue, although this is by far their poorest effort. Before wading through the swamp, however, there are positive elements to it. We get to see more interactions between Tara and the rest of the group, and unlike last episode, there is no otherworld things going on. We also get to see Giles sing, and Anthony Stewart Head proves he is a man of many talents by delivering an excellent performance. That's it. The basis for the episode is that the frat house the initiative is based under was originally a home for disenfranchised youth, run by an abusive matron who punished her pupils if they were, in her view, impure. This involved drowning them, cutting their hair off, and general verbal discipline. Now, due to Buffy and Riley having sex a lot in the house, it has unleashed a poltergeist, a spirit that has built up repressed feelings from decades past, and it's feeding off their sexual energy to cause chaos. There are problems with the premise. The first is that apparently the initiative did no research on supernatural events in the location of their secret base. Or alternatively, no one had ever had sex before in the frat house and caused some spookiness. Neither of those make any sense. The other problem is that while Buffy and Riley having an active sex life is fine, they are unreasonably horny this episode and extremely obvious about it. It's not like they're possessed either, it's made clear the spirits only start affecting them after the first act. There are reasons behind this, and in theory it could work. Riley slept with Faith a short time ago, and this could be an overcompensation on their part, trying to erase the trauma it caused in both of them. The issue is they're acting completely out of character, and every scene feels clumsy. In The Iron Team, we saw how them fighting together could lead to sex, but it was done in a much better way. The other part of the problem is that we already had a frat party turned into chaos episode in Fear itself, as well as the cult in Reptile Boy. Characters hang a lampshade on it, but it still feels like treading the same ground without offering anything new. The only thing that's different is there is a bunch of vegetation that keeps the Scoobies out. This might be referencing the Garden of Eden, but otherwise doesn't make sense with the other apparitions or backstory. There is a villain in this episode played by Catherine Justin. The gang go to find answers from her, and she reveals the punishment she inflicted on the children. Her performance is hammy, but that's not exactly exclusive or even bad. She only has a single scene, and it's not very impactful, so even the human face of the episode falls flat. The only side plot in the episode is that Anya and Xander are having relationship problems. Because they didn't have sex one night, Anya insists they must be breaking up, despite Xander's insistence that's not the case. They go their separate ways before ending up in a frat house. Before that, however, they manage to traumatize a group of people who are waiting outside of Xander's ice cream truck, one of his many miscellaneous jobs. Despite them not having actually broken up, Xander flirts with the first girl he sees, and then plays spin the bottle with her. Anya, in the meantime, airs her grievances to Spike, but doesn't actually do anything with him, despite them having quite a bit in common, both being ex-demons. The Spike and Anya interactions are actually decent, but they still don't feel quite true to the characters. In the end, however, Anya and Xander join together to save Buffy, and in doing so save their relationship. In other words, there's no change in their dynamic from the beginning of the episode to the end. The same thing happens with Buffy and Riley, where they just don't have sex all the time in the future. Everyone just pretends this episode never happened. All of the episodes that Forbes have written have Buffy acting very out of character. In Beer Bad, she was transformed into a caveman. In Something Blue, she is love-lusted to Spike, and here she is horny and disappears for the second and third act. It seems like Forbes doesn't know how to write for a character, so found ways to avoid it. The beginning of the episode features a vampire and demon working together, and the characters discuss how it might be part of Adam's plan, but that's his only role in the episode, not even an on-screen appearance. As discussed in Superstar, this is the case for a string of episodes, but given how little else is going on, it feels especially egregious. Then there is the final nail in the coffin. The episode is just not fun to watch. I'm asexual, but even if I wasn't, the scenes with Riley and Buffy in bed are not meant to be attractive. It's meant to be uncomfortable. They're clearly not enjoying their actions, but are unable to stop. This means for a decent portion of the runtime, things are just miserable, without anything to justify sitting through it. Only reason this episode deserves to exist is Giles' performance at the espresso pump, and that could be a scene in any episode. This is the only episode I recommend skipping while watching Season 4. It is truly a waste of time. That's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this review, and be well.